Hey guys, what's up? It is Lazy Modding here, and we're going to be going about how to install Antlers 22 real alfalfa into a map. In this case, I am going to be using Large H's Leona map as a example. So, first thing you're going to do is you're going to want to go and download all this stuff. So, uh, and I'll include a link to the file in the description so you can just go to it, or you can pretty much just type in antler 22 and probably alfalfa and it'll probably get you there. But you'll want to go and hit this download button, and then if you want to donate you can, um, and then you can just go here and hit download. I've already got it downloaded in the folder for this video, so I'm not going to download it again. But if you want to download it, just hit download there. And for example, I've already downloaded Leona. It's the same route. So as you can see, I have both Leona and Antlers Alfalfa in here, and we're gonna unzip both of these just so they're unzipped. So you can either use the default extraction from Windows, or I have 7-zip installed, and I think there's also WinRAR that you can use. Uh, so now that we have these two folders unzipped, first thing we're going to do is go look at the alfalfa and see what all is included. So there is this alfalfa help text. So I will bring this down here, and this is what is included within the help text. Antler went ahead and um, put in like everything you need to add into XMLs to be able to make the alfalfa work how it should be working per se. So pretty much once you get through this part of it, you can just copy and paste most of the stuff, and we will go over on how to do that in the video. So don't be worried. I'm not just gonna drop you and wish you luck. So, uh, and then inside the alfalfa folder, we have all the normal, diffuse, and spec maps along with the alfalfa XML, the alfalfa HUD, and then the alfalfa actual i3D itself. So those are in there. We're actually going to go here and go to the Leona map here, and we're just going to go here and delete everything else because we're not going to load this in the game. So, uh, don't really need all that stuff. It's just extra scratching. We're going to go and unzip the Leona folder. And you're going to want to make sure you're doing all these edits with your folders unzipped. So, because nothing works right if your folders are zipped. So, just make sure that if you have a map that you're working on to trying to edit this stuff, make sure it's unzipped so you can actually access the files how they're supposed to be accessed. And it's taking a little bit of a minute here. It's not the smallest file of any sense. While we're waiting, a couple tools you'll need is a text editor. So you can use Notepad++, or you can use Visual Studio Code, or Visual Studio Code. Um, Either one of those works fine. There's probably a couple other text editors. Whatever you want, you're going to want to make sure it can process XML files. So I will probably be using Visual Studio Code. Oh my, why do I keep saying Visual Studio Code? It's Visual Studio Code. For this one, just because it runs a little bit better on my end, and I enjoy it a little bit more. So now that we have it unzipped here, we're going to go into it, and we're just going to get the layout and exactly what we're looking for. So I'm going to take this up to big screen here, and I wish I could figure out how to make it a little bit bigger. Obviously y'all can. Okay, that works. That's giant. Um, so right off the bat, you have your preview map, or your mod desk icon, placeables, and then you have maps. We're really going to be worrying about this maps folder. So we're going to click in it, and then as you can see, we have map US, sounds, textures. I'm pretty sure we're just going to be working in this map folder. I haven't actually edited Alfalfa onto this map. So we'll go map.us, and everything looks to be here, so it should be fairly easy. So we're gonna find this foliage folder that we have up here, and we're gonna click it, and you can see we have barley, oat, and wheat as options for our foliage folders. So what am I gonna do is I'm actually gonna go back to this. I did not mean to actually go back all the way back. No, I just want a new. Actually, we'll open that in a new tab. Gosh dang it! Why is it making life so difficult? Okay, open a new window. There we go. I'm just gonna snap this to this side. Leave that here. That way, so we can kind of just drag and drop stuff as need be. So you guys can kind of see what I am doing on both sides of the aspects here, and I'll make these a little bit larger for you guys. Maps US. It keeps shrinking down to how I have it. But you guys should be able to get the point. So basically, what we need to do now is to take the alfalfa textures that's in Antlers 22 alfalfa folder and move them into our foliage folder. So we're gonna go and once again find that foliage folder, where in this case it has barley, oat, and wheat already in it. We're just gonna go here and I'm just gonna copy this over that way so we have our own files that's already saved exactly how they are in case we need to edit something and then it doesn't work. So always make sure you have a backup of files. So I'm gonna just copy this so you can hit Control C or copy there. You can do Control V or you can paste in here. So now we have our alfalfa in here. We're just gonna make a mental note of this file path up here. So it's maps US foliage alfalfa. So now that we have that done, we need to go in the i3D via the text side of it and add our alfalfa route into it so it can load in the textures. So that's what's next. So we're going to go find the map i3D and it's going to be like map i3D. We're not going to open it with Giants Editor. We're going to open it with a code editor. So we're going to use Visual Studio Code for this one. And it's going to open it up and and it's going to look something like this. So it's going to have a crap ton of lines of everything because it basically maps out everything that's within the i3D. So what we're going to be looking for is just some kind of crop. So I see sorghum here, so we'll use that as a solid example here. And what we're going to do is we're just going to highlight that line, copy it, and go here, tab enter and tab down. It's going to make a new line for that code. We're going to change this number to something. We're going to try 999 here and see if it's... Nope, not 9999. So we'll probably have to go a little bit bigger. So we'll go 1745. Okay, so 1745 doesn't look to exist. You always want to make sure that your file IDs will exist, because if they don't, it will mess things up and it won't add it. So we're going to go 1745 on our file ID here. So 1745. We'll try to, there, we'll zoom in a little bit. So you can see right here, I went file 1745, and we're going to change this file path to route to our alfalfa folder that we just did. So, and a good way to do this is if it already has a custom crop in it, you can just go and, for instance, this one's oat. So like right here, large H already went in and mapped all these in. So we have foliage, barley.xml. So if you don't want to have to figure out the file path yourself, you can just go and do this. So we're just going to real quick highlight this, but I can explain where this is actually coming from. So find this, and we're just going to paste this in here for now. So as you can see, it's foliage, oat, and oat.xml. So what it's doing is that file path is going to start wherever the map i3D is located at. So in this instance, it's going to be in the map US folder. So we're already going to be within that map US folder. So basically we just need to work our way down the hierarchy via inside this folder. So And then to get to it, we're going to go foliage. So that's going to be your first line there is going to be that foliage. And you're going to have your forward slash. We're going to find alfalfa. So it's going to be foliage forward slash alfalfa. And we're going to put another forward slash in. And then we're going to find this XML. So it's going to be foliage forward slash alfalfa forward slash alfalfa.xml. And that's going to take you pretty much right to where you need to be. So we're going to go back in here and just change a couple things. And the best way to make sure that you're making sure that there's not going to be any issues on spelling is just copy the folder name instead of trying to type it out. Because I will be the first one to admit, sometimes I think I know how to spell a word and then I just don't. And it really messes some stuff up. So, but you can just go in and you can right click on it and go rename or use this little icon. Or you can just hit F2 on your keyboard and it will also give you the option to rename it. So we're going to do the same thing on this XML here. We're just going to highlight the entire file, click off of it, go back to our Visual Studio, and we're going to paste it right in here. So as you can see now, we have this custom line that runs right to our Alfalfa XML. So we're going to go back and search back for oat again. And basically what we're going to do is find the foliage multiplayer or the multi-layer area of the XML to be able to add all this stuff into. So as you can see, it's already in here. So we're just going to, once again, just go and copy something that's already existent. And we're going to go down here. Didn't mean to do that. And then we're just going to paste it right in here. So now we have foliage type, name, foliage XML ID 246. Making sure that he doesn't have anything special set. Okay, so. And we went with 1745 on our foliage XML ID, which is also that file ID that we dealt with previously. And then we're just going to change this to alfalfa. And then just once again, just to make sure that we're spelling stuff right, because you don't want to mess stuff up. If something's not spelt right, you also want to be careful of doing that. It's almost easier sometimes just to change how it's spelt in the file path versus trying to change how it's spelt in all the other XMLs or all the other files. So we don't need the XML here. We're just going to go straight up alfalfa here. And we're just going to hit Control S to save our map i3D. And that is now saved. So the next thing we need to do is we need to go to our growth folder that's in our map US folder. So we're going to find it here real quick. Then it's going to be right here is maps _ growth XML. We're just going to right click that, open it up. If you don't have a growth XML in your folder hierarchy, you can go and copy the base game one and paste it into your map US folder. And you can go to your map XML, and then you can find where it's like have as a path for your growth, and you can just change the file path that's routed to there, and it's pretty much as simple as that. So here we are in our growth XML, and I meant to open this in Visual Studio. I bounce back and forth, so bear with me. So here we are in our maps.growth. We're just going to scroll down here to the end. I like just adding on all the extra stuff to the end. So in this alfalfa help text that Antler put out, this area right here is going to be for your growth XML. So it's right here. I'll tell you. So we're just going to go in here and just copy this all over. So you can either highlight all, copy, Control C, however you want to copy. And we're going to go find the last fruit tag that is in the seasonal category. And once you find that, we're just going to hit enter to go down one level here. And we're just going to go and paste the other fruit names in. We're going to make sure that everything else is lined up right as far as everything goes. So each line should technically be indented. And that just makes your hierarchy look a little bit better. So we're not going to really mess with anything here. Antler did all this for us already, so we don't really need to worry about anything here. But all that's in here, so we're just going to go ahead and hit Control S to save, where you can go File and Save. So going back to our text file here, it looks like the next thing we need to edit is our fruit types.xml. So move that up there while I load in that one. So we're going to go find our fruit types, which is right here. Right click it, open Visual Studio. And then we're just going to once again kind of scroll down to the end of the fruit type area. Like I said, I just like to add everything onto the end of it. It just makes it a little bit easier to know where things are at. So once again, we're just going to go in here and create a new line right under the last entry for fruit type. And we're just going to go in here and in this help text and just going to highlight everything and just Control C. And we're just going to paste that in here. Once again, make sure that your files look decent or you can get lost fairly easy. So we're just going to paste all that in here. He's already got it all set up to where it'll drop a grass windrow and do everything it needs to do. So now we have that in here. We're just going to hit Control S to save this that we've already done. The next thing we need to do is add it to fruit type categories. So he was also really nice and went ahead and kind of did this for us as well. Try to zoom in on this a little bit better. So this is what we just put in here. So we're going to look for our fruit type categories. So as you can see, he wants to add it to our direct cutter. So I'm just going to copy the alfalfa in there. So direct cutter, pickup, and sewing machine. So that's what we're going to look for. So grain header, mace header, direct cutter. And we're just going to go down to the end of the line here. Space, Control V to paste alfalfa in there. Pickup, we're going to go and paste alfalfa in there. And then into sewing machine, we're going to go and put alfalfa in there. So what that's going to do is it's basically adding it to those types of machinery so they can process the alfalfa. So what we made it do is now a forage harvester can directly cut it. It can also pick it up, and it can also plant, or a sewing machine can now plant the alfalfa. So we go back to the help text. We need to add it to a couple converters here just to make it to where it will turn into like the proper fill types, because the alfalfa add-on doesn't add bales or the fill type technically to the map. All we're doing is adding another type of grass that can be cut, basically. So basically for the forage harvester part, it changes it from alfalfa to chaff. So we're just going to highlight this converter area, copy it, and then we're going to go down here and find the converter forage harvester. And we're just going to go down to the end of the line and create a new line. And we're just going to paste that right in here. And you can see now it's in here. Works perfect. And then we're going to do the same thing with the mower line here. So here's your mower line. I'm going to go converter, alfalfa. We're just going to highlight all that, copy, paste. Then go to the end of the mower line here and go Control V to paste that in here. And then we're pretty much done with, well, we are done with the fruit types.xml. So you can just hit Control S to save. And you can go up here and do that save file, whichever way works best for you. So now that we have the fruit types done, we need to go and add just a basic entry to fill types, just to basically make it existent per se. So once again, Antler went ahead and provided us with all this into all this. So we're going to go and find our fill types XML. So we're going to go here, right click, open with Visual Studio. I don't know why I keep calling it Codio. And we're just going to kind of scroll down to the bottom of the crop list. Some people put it at the top, some people put it at the bottom. I just kind of like knowing that it's at the bottom so things don't get messed up per se. Cotton, sugarcane. Okay, so we're going to put it on the bottom of the sugarcane here. So you're gonna find your last fill type tag here, and we're just gonna hit enter to move it down. And we're gonna go find the entry in here that he put in. We only need to take the fill type tag right now. So we're just gonna highlight all that, control to copy that. We're gonna go and paste all that in there. And we're gonna tab it all over that way so it just looks nice and neat. And it's already got everything added in for us. One thing we do need to look at is where the image for the HUD file is pulling from. So this isn't a big deal, but if you want the icon that says Alfalfa on it, this is what does that deal. So he's got it pretty close. We just don't need this map because it's going to be in the same foliage file that we were messing with earlier. So it's just going to be foliage /alfalfa /HUD _ alfalfa. So we're just going to delete the map, and that's pretty much all we need to do there. And then there is where we have to add it to the bulk fill type. So we're just going to go down here and find it and do this. And we're just going to add alfalfa directly to the bulk fill type. And this is generally at the bottom of your fill types.xml before sounds anyway. So we're just going to find this bulk up here. Just going to kind of go down the end. This is a really long list because there's just a lot of it. So we're just going to go down here in space and control V to put it into our bulk folder here. And we're just going to hit control S and we're going to save it. So we went in and added all the entries that are required to do this. We went in and added the XML path to our i3D file, and all that is now saved. So everything's saved, everything's solid. So now what we're going to want to do is I'm going to close out of this here, and we're actually going to go and open the map i3D up now. So basically what we're going to do here is the map or the map.i3D file, we put in those file paths, but when we save the map again, it's going to go and change those file paths around. So it's going to put crops near each other. So instead of that file ID being like 1745, it's going to be something that's a little bit smaller of a number. So while we wait for John's editor to load up here. Okay, load it up finally. We're just going to move it to this screen, full screen. You don't really need to do a lot. Literally all you need to do is open it up and then just go right here and hit save and let it save. And I'll kind of show you guys what it does here in a minute once we get done saving. But you don't have to edit anything in the map or anything. You just need to hit save. And then once you have your confirmation that's been saved down here, you just go and hit exit up here. And we're just going to go open this back up into our Visual Studio Code and load it in here. Then we're just going to go up here and do a quick search for ALF. And as you can see, the file ID is no longer 1745. It's now 253. So like I said, it's going to go change things depending on what you're adding to like basically simplify all the file name stuff. So, but yeah, so that is a real quick rundown on how to add Antlers 22 alfalfa into a map. And this goes pretty much for a lot of the textures out there more. Some of them can be a little bit more complex depending on what you're doing. And we might do a more of a quote unquote expert tutorial later down the road. But I had a lot of messages asking for a tutorial like this. So I just figured we go and make this real quick. So anyway, if you guys have any questions, please do feel free to drop them in the comments, or you can hop onto our Discord. You can find that in the link tree that will also be in the description. That also will have links to pretty much everything else possible out there. But this will, hopefully this will help. Like I said, I will be happy to help try to provide support. I don't have the time to walk everyone through baby steps, unfortunately. That's why I'm making a video. So, but yeah, so if you guys have any questions, please do ask them. But yeah, other than that, I hope you guys have a great week, and yeah, happy farming.